Hello, PE 578. Good afternoon. This is LaRon Brown with Unit 8 from a video response on burnout. Sorry, the question asks, the first question asks, when did you burn out? And my response to that is, I don't think I necessarily burned. I was burned out from track and field. I ran track in college. Um, and I always told myself that I would always run. I would always compete and stay in shape and just keep running. It was just what I did. I was so used to it. I was accustomed to it. And that's the way I lived my life for what, 15 years, up until I graduated from college. Actually, 1 year, 2 years after that, too, because I competed semi-professionally. But I always told I never really burned out from track, but there was a point in time during my senior year I got I started asking myself like, hey, like is this worth it still? Like, am I still doing this? Like, why am I still doing this? Um, and that's just because 13 years of track and field is a long time. And repetitively, like I was jumping off the same leg and injuries and trying to stay healthy in competitions and taking care of the body. But then the workouts too. The workouts are what really made me think about if I was really, going to keep doing this post college. And I did. So, but I don't think there was never a point to where I was like, okay, I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't want to run track anymore. I'm burnt out. This is done. I'm over it. I put in my time. I had a good run. I won some championships. I did my thing. Um, but eventually when I stopped competing, um, that was because I was training for this company, or this not a company. I was training with this club, and I kind of felt like at that time I wasn't getting better, and the amount of energy that I had left over after a full day's work wasn't enough for me to get to where I needed to be. And I respected the sport so much to where I was like, maybe I should just step aside, but I don't want to leave track and field. So I started coaching to fill that void. Um, but as far as competing and stuff, it was like at some point I was like, I can't train the way I need to, the way I want to, and work at the same time because I got stuff to do. I had to live on my own. I was young and I had to make money. I didn't have any money. So I just made it a conscious decision, and it was the hardest decision I ever made by far. But the fact that I still kept involved with track and field, and started coaching it filled a huge void, and it's led me to where I am today. I always knew that track and field would be my ticket. I just thought I'd be competing professionally, but turns out I'd be on the other side as a coach. In what sport or activity were you participating in, track and field? How intensely were you training when you burned out? I was training pretty hard, pretty much all my life. I started with club track in middle school, and club track is like honestly better than high school track because a lot of coaches don't know what they're doing at the high school level. Some do, some don't, most don't. And that's just the reality of it. I've encountered a lot of high school coaches. I coach at the high school level, and it's just coaches are more in tune with it at the club level or the youth level because first of all, a lot of it's volunteer. Second of all, it's just you can bring out the natural athlete in the person at a young age, and it's just much more meaningful. Um, so, but yeah, the practices, the trainings were intense. An hour and a half just for training on the track, and an hour in a weight room. 5 days a week, track meets on weekends. You have at the Division 1 level too, and I was a pretty good athlete. So my training, the level of training that I had to go through to compete at the high level that I did, it was difficult, but I mean, it was for the better. I remember workouts. We had to do a stadium workout at Cal State Fullerton. We did 36 different stadiums. That's six different exercises, six different sets. Single leg isolations, jumpings, running, sprinting, and it took like 2 hours to do it. But stuff like that is what got me through. Stuff like that is what made me a champion. So the workouts were pretty intense. How did you feel physically at this time? I felt like I was in the best shape of my life. I felt like I can take on the world at that time. But I mean, it takes a toll on your body. My knee, my left knee, I have jumper's knee now, or patellar tendonitis, and it was to the T. They had to shift my patellar over, nasal tape it there just so I can compete. And then I had to take like an enormous amount of ibuprofen for every competition. In between each event. So it took a huge toll on my body, and after when I jumped 7 feet in high jump, I was like, my leg just locked up, and that's just because I did 13 years of long jump, triple jump, and high jump off the same leg. Triple jump is 3 different phases, but the last phase was my left leg, my jump leg. So there's 13 years of just pounding, 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 and then it takes a toll on your body, and your body can only take so much before it just like breaks. So, um, how did you feel psychologically at this time? I felt like I was mentally prepared. I took, like I said, I took the sports psychology class when I was in college with Dr. Ken Revisa, and that helped me so much. Even to this day, I still use it to this day. The visualizing, the executing, the breathing, um, self-talk, positive reinforcement, a lot of those things, visualizing, I said that, but I use a lot of those things into my personal life, but a lot for my athletes as well. Um, Relative to questions 4 and 5, how long did you feel this way? Only for a couple years, only once my senior year, and then my senior year in college, and then the year I competed semi-professionally. And that's when it wasn't more so my injuries, because I had a physical therapist who did some type of miracle on my knee. But it was more so like, I want to get better, but I'm dead tired when I get to practice from working 8 to 10 hours a day, and then not being able to put forth the effort that I need to be where I want to be. You know, so it was only a couple years, but it was more so like, year 13 to 15, 13, 14, 15, and that's when I really started to just rethink my life and where I wanted to go. Did your symptoms occur suddenly or build up over time? Just suddenly. You know, I think honestly, one day I was at practice and I was like, "Man, why am I doing this?" And quickly I just like, what am I thinking? This is track and field. This is what I do. This is what I love. This is who I am. So I fixed that real quick. But once I got to training, once I graduated and then started coaching, that I was coaching that same year, I was competing for semi-professionally. So once I got through that, and then I started to see like where my body was and where I needed to be, because I knew, I was a pretty smart athlete as well, but it just became time to where, you know what, I want to stay involved, but I need to make a decision on what I want to do and how I'm going to do it. So yeah, and a lot of the reasons why I kept pushing through these rigorous trainings and competitions and injuries is because when I was growing up, I had in my room, we had, those inspirational quotes that have determination and success, and then perseverance and stuff like that. Well, I remember the one from Perseverance or Persistence, and the quote where it read, "The road is not always for the swift, but for those who keep on running." And I think about that all the time, every day to this day. And I had that in my room back when I was like 8. I'm a lot older now. So, but that quote plays in my mind. It keeps going, keep going, keep going. It's not always for the swift. You don't have to be fast. You don't have to do everything right now. But as long as you get it done, then you're good. Just maintain your persistence in life, and coaching in your career, and as a teacher, as an educator, whatever it is. And I live my life by that, and I really pride myself on it too. And I think that's why I'm here now. I graduated with my bachelor's in 2010, and 6 years later, I started my master's program, and I'm still in it. I got one more year, so I have to keep going. And it's not always for the swift. A lot of people get their master's done maybe the year after their bachelor's, or they take a couple years off and then they start it again. So, but this has been a process for me, especially since I transferred programs. But I think the fact that I'm still going, that I'm still persistent at what I want to do, at coaching, at bettering myself as an individual, as a professional, this is just speaking to straight through God's words, God's plan. This has to be Him. The reason why I'm here now in this particular situation is all God. And I think that He instilled in me that persistent pill, that persistent gene, or whatever it is, just to keep going and constantly progress. I'm all about progression. My life is all progression. I can't sit still for a long time. I just feel like I have to do something else or just be involved in something, and that's the way I am. And so that's my post. I hope it was helpful to anyone else going to watch this. This is our week 8 for this class, so it was nice interacting with everyone. Professor Mitzi, you're all right. I'll see you guys later. Thanks.